Hello and welcome to The Forum, the show where we get to know a student from Monroe County Community College. I'm your host, Lauren Werlinger, the editor of the Agora, which is the student newspaper at MCCC. For this episode of The Forum, we will be featuring Presley Bergmooser. Hi Presley, it's great to have you here.
Hi Lauren.
So you painted the mural on the walls of Cake by Stephanie. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I started that back in June, I think. So we kind of were talking about it at the bakery, and I worked there, and I've worked there since last October. And my boss had been bringing it up, and she had an idea for kind of like a photo opportunity. And we were kind of throwing ideas around, and then she brought up to me one day, I was like, I want you to paint it. And I was like, oh, okay. Just kind of brought it up like that. And so I came up with a couple sketches. She was very, very hands-off about the whole thing. She basically told me a couple things that she wanted included. So her part of her logo, she wanted a little saying, and she wanted people to be able to stand in front of it, act like they were holding the cake or holding the cupcake. And from there, just let me run with it. It was super cool. It was a great opportunity. I just kind of worked with our logo and drew some colors from there. And then I, after work one Saturday, literally just threw up on the wall my design, in paint. I didn't measure anything. I didn't sketch anything out. And just because I kind of was impatient with it a little bit, in the beginning, I just wanted to start it so badly. And then it took me 25 hours in total, not all at once, but over the span of a week or so, I worked on it for 25 hours, and it was outside, literally as soon as it would get light out, I would go out there and I would start working, and it was just it was an amazing experience. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. What specifically about it did you enjoy?
Well, that was the first. I've done larger scale artwork before. In high school, I was in a mural painting class. So I've done something, that was probably the biggest I had done at the time, which was probably 6 feet tall and 5 feet wide. So that was pretty big, but I had never done an actual mural on the wall. And just her trust in me with the whole thing and her encouragement throughout the whole thing it was very, very, just an overall good experience.
Right, and you said before that you kind of just jumped into it. Do you usually approach your projects like that, or do you kind of take a more meticulous approach?
I usually end up just jumping into it. I have a process with thinking things out and with my design and what I want it to look like. So it usually goes one of two ways. So either I get really inspired and I can just like I said with the mural, throw it up on the wall. I can just throw it up on the canvas and just go from there. Or, and I have a piece like this right now that I'm working on where I kind of think about what the client wants, and I try to do it, and then I get about halfway through, finished with the painting, and then I finally get it.
Right.
So then I just start over, just white paint all over the whole thing, scratch it all out, and then I've been lucky enough with inspiration from that kind of stuff. As much as I try to make all the pieces fit together, unless it really comes to me, I can't.
Right, so you just, if you don't have the inspiration, you just kind of work on it anyways and then wait for it to hit you?
Yes, and that, I've taken my first art class, through the college, actually this semester, and that is one of the things that has been nailed into me. And I have known this, that you just don't always have the time to wait for it to hit you.
Right.
And I give myself deadlines for stuff, so I do just you just have to start working on it and just hope that something comes to you.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's see, so you also have Presley Made It, which is kind of
Yes.
you take commissions on Instagram and stuff like that?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about how that got started?
So I started that last September, and it's actually really weird because I had been doing Presley Made It kind of right since COVID started, right when we went into quarantine with everything. Right before that, I had kind of set up an idea of making jean jackets that had college apparel on the back, or college designs, stuff like that. So that kind of came to me, and jean shorts, and they had gotten kind of popular. So I just talked to a couple friends. I was like, do you think that people would like these? And then I posted it on my personal social medias, and I started to get orders. And then I did it all through my personal account for probably about 6 months. And then right when September started, I was like, okay, I have been talking so long about making this page, I just need to do it, which is kind of similar to the whole process of even creating art, like how you just kind of have to work on it. I was
Right.
like, it doesn't need to be like pretty, it just needs to get done. So I just made the account and I started uploading things, and then I was kind of trying to like market it through my personal account just because like I have friends and family who follow me. And then ever since then, I've just like, that's where I take all of my orders through right now.
Okay, gotcha. How many orders do you typically take like per month?
Per month, I think it kind of depends. I'm definitely like busier certain month, like during like the later part of the year. I was incredibly blessed in November. I think I just entered them into so I have like a binder where I keep track of everything. I think I took nearly 30 orders in November. So
This November?
yes,
Oh, wow.
this November.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's great. I like, my system is so I take them all down, like obviously through my phone, and then I have like pieces of paper that like I put up, like my desk goes straight against the wall, and I just slap them up like right on the wall so that I can see everything and I don't forget anything. But yeah, it really just depends. I'm obviously, because of like Christmas and stuff like that, but I was very, very blessed in the month of November.
Yeah, absolutely. So how long have you been doing art?
I've been doing art since, my dad says that I was 6, but just like since I was younger. So I've always just like kind of been very into it. Like my babysitters always used to color with me, and like we would like do crafts and stuff like that. So I've always been into it. But I only got like kind of like serious about like painting, which is the majority of what I do right now. I do painting and a lot of digital stuff. I only got seriously into that probably like right before high school started. I was like, because I'd kind of like made my way, I don't know if you remember like the duct tape stuff, like when duct tape was super popular, I was selling duct tape wallets. And when the rubber band bracelets were super popular, I was selling those. And so like all of that kind of stuff. And then like I would enter the art fair when we used to have that downtown. I did that with like the duct tape stuff, but I always was a really big fan of like the clay, like polymer clay. So I would like make little charms and sell those. But then like I just kind of like outgrew all that stuff and really just wanted to like continue creating. And so I asked for an easel and canvases and paints for Christmas. And then, so yeah, like since right before high school is when I was like, okay, like I want to paint. Like this is something that I really want to try to explore.
What was it about painting specifically that made you want to try it?
I think it was because like I was super creative and I was super artistic, but I had never actually like, I had drawn and like I had sketchbooks, but I had never really like actually taken up like drawing or painting. Like, and it was so weird because it's like whenever you think of art, it's like, okay, famous painters.
Right.
It's not like famous people who do duct tape. Like, I'm not like ragging on that, but it's like, that was like the one thing that I was like, okay, like painting is art, and like I've just never gotten into that. So just like, why not start now?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. What has drawn you to art as a hobby, like in general?
Well, I think now I've definitely like become very addicted to like being by myself in that like flow state. Like when I can sit down and work on a piece and just like spend hours on end and like not even realize that like it has been hours, like that is the thing to me that is just like so addicting. Like I love it. And I've become like so selfish with my time, like when it comes to all that stuff, because like I really do. And I used to not like being able to like be alone and like, because I would just sit there and I would think about everything, and I would just like, it was just such a place where I was like, this isn't fun. Like I want people to talk to, and like I want to be around people. So it used to take a lot for me to sit down, but now like it's just something that I love. Like I love like, it's just so calming, like being there, and like once I can get that inspiration and kind of get into it, I really enjoy it.
Yeah. What like inspires you like generally? Like you see something and makes you want to create?
Oh my gosh. I think that I definitely draw inspiration from a lot of different things. I'm really inspired by like other creators, obviously. Like it's like hearing music is awesome. Like when it's usually like I'm usually listening to music if I'm not listening to like a podcast when I create. But also it's really weird, but I have gotten like a lot of inspiration like randomly like at church, which I don't know why, I don't know how, but I do definitely think that it's like a gift from God. And I draw a lot of my inspiration from that sort of, from my faith in that way. Just kind of like I have this ability, and like, and it is something that like you do need to work at though, obviously. Like it's something that I've definitely put the hours into like becoming better at. But it's just like I know that I have all of these opportunities to like get better in that way. So I feel like I'm completely wasting space, wasting time, like wasting everything if I'm not putting it towards becoming better in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So you'd say it's kind of like a combination of working at it, but also all the opportunities that were given to you?
Yeah, and just like seeing like the way that things have like unfolded thus far, and like how like one thing leads to another. Like when you really take a step back and look at it, like I have no excuse not to work at it every day.
Right.
Like, because it is something that means a lot to me, and it's something that like I'm very passionate about. So I do want to put in those those hours and that time.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you have like anybody in your life that really like supports you in your hobbies?
Oh yeah, my family has been very supportive. I've been very lucky with that. Because when usually like, and I don't know, like if you talk to people like, oh, like I thought that I wanted to go to art school for a while. And that was before like I decided like, no, like I want to be around people. Like this isn't something that I want to be like just a fine artist. That's just not for me. But when you talk to people about like going to art school or like doing something with art, people kind of give you like a second look and are like, okay, well, do you want to make money? Like, like some of that. And I'm like, yeah. And like, you can make money as an artist. And that's the thing that like a lot of people just kind of, everyone just falls under that assumption that there's no opportunities in art and you can't make money. When in reality, like literally everything that we look at is art and has something to do with art. And like even taking this this college art class has made me realize that to like an even deeper level. And my family has just always been very supportive. Like if I, like for the little stint where I did want to go to art school, they supported me. And they just, I mean, that also does come along with, they're people who, they really encourage me to continue to work hard because like, I can say everything that I want about like being successful as an artist and like taking this to the next level, but they know that like if I don't work at it and if I don't work hard, that nothing's gonna come from it.
Right.
So they've been very, very supportive in that way.
Which of the art classes did you take?
I am currently in the advertising art class. I forget the exact course title of it, and Professor O'Halloran is not going to be happy about that. But she rocks. She's amazing, and she's been very, very helpful. It just, the big thing about this is it's about like meeting deadlines and like being able to take her projects and like make sure that you can get them done. And like, it's very interesting because you have to kind of like grasp an idea and like tell a story through the art, which isn't something that like I'm foreign to, but it's not always, like it's very different from like the commercial art that I do and like that I choose to create for people. It's different than that. Yeah. So that's been challenging.
Yeah. How is it different?
Just because like in the art that I do, like if I'm making art for a client, it's like for the jean jackets, like they just want like their school's name like on the back of the jacket and they want to take pictures in it, they want it to look cute, and like that's my assignment. So like I'm gonna follow those rules and then hopefully give it to them and they'll be happy with it. Or like I do Bibles a lot of the time, so like that's obviously like different in that way where it's like, okay, they want these certain elements, they want this verse, this name, and they want these colors. Okay, let me see what I can do with that. And it's more of a like placement process kind of like designing all of that and making it look good together. But in the art class, I don't ever really like draw cartoons or animated. Like I've just never been like a sketcher like that. And you have to draw like a lot of the times it's like caricatures and cartoons, and we've done some realistic stuff, which is what I prefer. But doing these and like trying to tell a story, like we'll spend like 3 hours on like in class or on Zoom, like talking about these stories that we just have to like make, and like somehow like the viewer is supposed to see this and like make it all come to life, and like I'm supposed to grasp that from looking at this piece of art, and that has just been like mind-boggling to me.
It's like very abstract, which is different than what you do, right? Yeah, for sure. Let's see. So what is your favorite thing you've ever made and why?
Oh my gosh. I think one, I don't know, it's hard because like I always like I fall in love with the pieces that I do like as I do them. Like as I'm putting them out and like giving them to people, I'm like, this is like my favorite thing that I've done. And then the next one I'm like, no, like this one is it. Like I'm obsessed with this. And I definitely am like that in general. Like I do get like very like obsessive over certain things. And I think that one of my favorite things that I've ever done, it's a picture of one of my best friends, and she's like scrunching her face like that, and it just randomly came to me in we were actually like, we were at school and I think we were going to church. And I was thinking about like what I wanted my next art project to be. And I was in an independent study. So I was sitting in on another art class, but the teacher was kind of like giving me my own deadlines and like coming up with like her own projects for me. And it was the first piece that I had ever really like taken the time to, and this was my, I want to say sophomore, junior year of high school. And I thought of this and I was like, I want to do that and like see what I can do with it. Because I wanted to try to capture like some sort of movement. Like I wanted to do a portrait and I knew that, but I didn't want someone just like sitting there smiling. Like I wanted there to be like that, like because when you scrunch your face, like there's just so much going on.
Right.
And I like gridded out my board and I sketched the entire thing out beforehand and sprayed it and then went in with acrylic paint and did the whole thing. And it was just like it was super cool, like having that, like I had a vision in my head for that one, and like seeing it come to life like that, and like actually like working through it, and it being one of the people that like I love very deeply in my life,
Right.
like that was super cool too, and I think that's probably one of my favorite things that I've ever done.
Yeah. So the reason you like that one so much is kind of like the fact that you knew how to do it and you executed it, but also that it has that kind of like sentimental value, like it's your best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was cool, like, cause like I saw it in my head and I was like, no, like that's what I want to do, like, cause I'd been like back and forth about what I wanted to do for this project, cause like you're in an independent study, so you really are in control of a lot. And then I got that and I was like, yeah, like this is it.
So what are you majoring in at the community college?
Right now I'm getting my general associative science.
And so then what are your plans after the college?
So I am actually in the process right now of applying to MSU, so Michigan State University, and I'm going into creative advertising, and I will go in as a junior and finish up those 2 years and then graduate from there with a bachelor's in creative advertising.
Yeah, awesome. I wish you luck with that endeavor.
Thank you.
All right, well, thanks for joining us today. Tune in next time to see another featured student on the forum.